So a massive movement this week in the chip sector, not only in Holland, but also in other parts of the world. Why was that? Because on Tuesday, ASML, the Dutch proud of the last decade, I dare to say, they presented a day too early their quarterly figures, and they were not as good. They were not definitely not bad, but they were not as well accepted as other quarters that we have seen of ASML. What happened? Basically, the biggest readout of this publication was that the order intake was much less than expected. And that had a quite significant impact on the price. The price on Tuesday afternoon went down with almost 16%. If we look at Applied Materials, Nvidia, but also Besi and ASMI, which are competitors or friends in the same sector, to say it like that, they went down also between 10 and 15%. So big disruption in the chip sector, and what I said, mainly due to the amount of orders there that were a lot less. For your information, in the fourth quarter of 2023, the total volume of order intake was 9.2 billion. The expectations for this quarter were 5.5 billion, and eventually it was only just close to 5, so 10% less than what the analysts were expecting. Why is that? That is due to a couple of causes, mainly because China pushed on the brake. They're not buying as much of the machines as ASML is building as was hoped. It's going there a little bit worse than was in the past. But also, maybe very important, is the fact that Samsung and Intel, they're the biggest clients of ASML, and mainly Intel, we all know, they are really struggling. They had to fire a lot of people. They put the construction of the fabric in Germany on hold. There's a lot of things going on with Intel, and they're really walking behind the facts, to say it like that. They're not where Nvidia is booming. In this case, Intel is definitely not. If we look at more another fundamental issue that is going on with ASML is that, and it's also affecting the whole chip sector, is COVID, of course, caused a lot of these companies to build additional factories and additional power to build chips, because a lot of people were at home at the days, buying televisions, computers, mobile phones, anything else, to keep themselves busy. That, of course, whole effect, that hype is gone. And that is causing that these companies maybe they bet a little bit too much on this whole hype that was going on. Looking at China, to give a little bit more in-depth information, ASML expects that 20% of the total turnover for next year will be coming from China. If and then the orders will stay or remain at this level. That would mean, if it doesn't mean, that the total turnover will be falling to around 30%. So in the case that China is maintaining their order intake and the total turnover from China will be around 20%, that means that even though that will have significant impact on the figures of ASML. Looking at AI, AI of course is something nice, it's something beautiful. It's been used a lot. A lot of people are still getting used to it. But it's for the chip sector, it's only 10 to 15%. So all the other parts, so AI is not definitely taking over this whole sector. Looking at a competitor that was actually surprising the market, but on a positive note, was TSMC. TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductors, they presented their figures on Thursday. It's trading on TradeGates. It's a German exchange. The stocks went up initially on Thursday morning with 7.4%, and they closed yesterday with not less than 10% up. In this case, the CEO of TSMC was trying to take away all the doubts about this chip sector. So don't worry about it. The AI is just the beginning. It's in the footsteps. There's a lot of development still to become, a lot of growth still to become. He said, that he tried to basically mitigate the effects of the ASML figures. TSMC, they had a net profit of 325 Taiwan dollars, 9.3 billion US dollars, and there was an expectation of 300 Taiwan dollars, so that was about 7-8% higher than what was expected. And for TSMC, and that's what I didn't understand so well, why ASML was not responding so much to it, because TSMC is one of the most important clients of ASML. They're building a lot of new factories. Amongst one of them is in 60 billion investment in Arizona that is about to be delivered, and they're building another huge factory for around 30 billion. So there's a lot of things going on with TSMC, and that should actually have a positive effect on the price of ASML. ASML, by the way, this morning up 2.5%. So we see that maybe this is the bottom. But it will take some time to gain the confidence again, I think, of the investors.
Also because of that publishing thing. It's like a technical mistake.
A technical mistake, for a technical company, yes. So, Taco, he was with us a couple of months ago. He's, of course, been with us a lot of times, but he gave us some interesting insights in how to protect your positions with options. And we thought it was a good moment to show you, because Besi and Nvidia, he both touched down on them, I think it was July or something. He wanted to show what is the outcome of these constructions and how would it have benefited you if you would have done this. Maybe you have done it.
Exactly, because I think it's really interesting that you know the companies, you know what's happening, and then you have to decide, do I buy it, do I sell it? But the options are really helping you. It's not a separate product. It's really related to this kind of companies. And we said a few months ago together, like, okay, what can I do if I think markets are high? What do I need to do with those positions? It's not because we said it, but actually a lot of things happened. We gave you an example with Besi. It was trading at 145 euros at that moment, and we chose a insurance actually to have the right to sell at 130, and we actually sold a call option at 160. So if this is your first time, of course, this is something I have to say a disclaimer. It's not because it's necessary, but I really want you to understand those kind of constructions before you use it. But maybe also our academy, where we explain everything. Please have a look, because then you can really apply this kind of constructions. Well, we did this insurance construction without any payment. So the received premium and the paid premium was actually zero. And Besi was trading at 145 at that moment. Well, it was actually trading in August under the 100 euros. So the options have, of course, an expiry date. It's not for something for tomorrow. It can be, but this was like 3 months ahead. So actually a lot of things happened. And at that moment, the insurance covers 39 euros of the loss. So that is incredible, of course, that you have a position and you know I cannot lose more. Of course, you lose, but you cannot lose more than the defined 130. In the end, the expiration was at 111 euros. I will put a table in the video. So with the stock, you would have lost 100 stocks shares, 3,400. And due to the insurance, it was only 1,300 euros. So I think that's a lot of difference, of course. You are confident in the company, but one person loses a lot. Maybe it recovers, although today it's still trading low, Besi.
Yeah, definitely.
And one person had an insurance and he loses less. The other example was Nvidia. Someone decided to sell the stocks at $127 at that moment, and we said, okay, he wants to enter the position again, but at a lower price, 120, and he received $4 of premium. That's another construction, a sold put option. You buy the stocks back, in this case, against a discount and against a premium. Well, also Nvidia dropped a lot, of course, in August, so this position was actually also losing, but the loss was smaller, of course, than if you kept your stocks. So in the end, Nvidia had an expiry price of 124.58. So in the end, you did not have to buy at 120. So you actually just received $4. You don't have any exposure left. You can decide to buy it at that moment for the lower price. So actually that construction worked well. It's not because we mentioned it, but those kind of constructions really work. Of course, you can have sometimes less potential due to this kind of construction, but that was the whole idea. You are not so confident in the market going up again. It's already high. Maybe you have already profit, and you take this decision, and these are the results.
Totally agree with you that this is absolutely a must if you want to protect your positions. I can understand that you want to have a chat with us about this topic. So please reach out to us on email or on the telephone. We're here to help you. Thank you for watching, and we'll speak to each other next week.